Hello and welcome to our bereavement webinar. In this webinar, we'll be giving you more information on death benefits, what they are, and who they're applicable to. In the event of a member's death, there are two types of benefits which could be paid out. These are a death grant one-off payment and a survivor's pension. There are four types of death grant payments: an in-service death grant, an out-of-service death grant, a supplementary death grant, and a refund of contributions plus interest. And there are two types of survivor's pension: a short-term pension and a long-term pension. In-service death grants are payable for those members who were in pensionable employment when they died. Alternatively, if they died within 12 months of taking ill health, an in-service death grant would also be payable. Out-of-service death grants are payable for those members who have either left teaching or they've decided to opt out and they've not yet reached their normal retirement age. Supplementary death grants are payable when a member has died within 5 years of taking their pension. This would be a lump sum of 5 times their annual pension, minus any pension that has already been paid. A refund of contributions plus interest is paid when a member doesn't qualify for benefits. If they've got less than 2 years service and are out of service or have opted out of teaching, then we would pay them a refund of contributions plus any interest. If a member was in service, there's no minimum qualification period to be eligible for a death grant. There are two types of survivor pensions: a short-term pension, which is payable for 3 months after the death of the in-service qualified member or pensioner, and a long-term pension, which is continued to be paid after 3 months, with ongoing payments being made while the entitlement conditions continue to be met. So what determines the type of benefits that are paid? Death benefits are provided in relation to the member's age at death, their normal pension age, their average salary if they're in the final salary scheme, their annual rate of pensionable earnings if they're in the career average scheme, and their status within the scheme. The type of benefits depends on if the member was in service, out of service, re-employed, serious ill health, they didn't qualify for benefits, or if they were a pensioner. So who can receive a death grant? This is dependent upon the individual circumstances of the member. If they're married, in a civil partnership, or have a qualifying partner, a death grant nomination isn't required, as the surviving adult partner will automatically receive any death grant payable. But if a death grant nomination is in place, that will take precedence. If they aren't married, in a civil partnership, or have a qualifying partner, or they simply wish for a death grant to be paid to someone else, a death grant nomination must be completed. It remains in effect until it's revoked or updated. It must be to an individual or individuals. If there's neither a qualifying surviving adult or nominee, any death grant will be paid to the member's estate. There are 3 situations on when we will pay a death grant. There's death in service, which will pay either 3 times the final average salary if the member is in the final salary scheme, or 3 times the annual rate of pensionable earnings if they're in the career average scheme. There's death out of service, which will pay either 3/80ths of the final average salary for every year of service if the member is in the final salary scheme, or 2.25 times the pension accrued if the member is in the career average scheme. And if a pensioner dies, we'd pay a supplementary death grant, which will be 5 times their annual pension at the date of death, minus any pension already paid. And this is the same regardless of the scheme the member's in. Unlike a death grant that can be paid out to anybody, survivor's pension or family benefits can only go to people who are eligible under the scheme regulations. Eligible beneficiaries are a member's spouse or civil partner, a qualifying partner provided they would have been able to marry or enter a civil partnership, they've lived together for at least 2 years and are able to show that they are financially interdependent, a dependent child up to the age of 17 or up to the age of 23 if they're in full-time education, If fully incapacitated and not wholly maintained by the state, a child pension will continue to be paid beyond the age of 23, and a nominated financially dependent parent, step-parent, brother or sister, provided they are unmarried or widowed. If they marry, register as a civil partner, or start to live with another person as if they are a married couple or civil partners, their nomination will end. Which years of service count? Survivor of same-sex marriage or civil partnerships, female survivors of opposite-sex marriages and male survivors of opposite-sex marriages have service from the 1st of April 1972 or the 6th of April 1978 if the marriage or civil partnership took place after leaving the service. For qualifying partners, their service from the 1st of January 2007 will be counted, and for children's pensions, service from the 1st of April 1972 will be counted. How a member's family benefit is calculated is dependent on the scheme the member is in, whether or not they were in service, out of service, they had one child or two or more children that are dependent. Feel free to pause this slide and read over the benefits for each category. When a member dies, we can receive the notification of death by any number of parties. In all cases, we require the bereavement pack to be completed. This can be sent out by us or it can be downloaded from our website. Within the bereavement pack, we ask for information about the next of kin, including their bank account details and proof of marriage and death certificates. If the member died in service or within 12 months of leaving, then you as the employer will need to complete the Form 22A. Within this form, you'll need to tell us all the details you have regarding the member's sickness. Once we've received all the relevant forms, we will then do a calculation of what benefits will be paid out. We'll calculate any death grant and determine who will receive it and confirm any family benefits as well as any spouses or civil partnerships pensions and put the benefits into payment. Thank you for watching our bereavement training video. We hope you found it useful.